Behind the Roar, the official podcast of West Tigers.
Hello and welcome to episode 58 of Behind the Roar, the official podcast of West Tigers, where we give it to you straight and where we learn more about the people and the stories behind this great club. Behind the Roar is proudly sponsored by Pro Wrestling Australia. This week's episode, something a little different. It's a special State of Origin preview show as we count down to tonight's decider at a sold-out Suncorp Stadium. The series evenly poised, obviously, if it is a decider, one apiece between Queensland and New South Wales. And to preview what should be a blockbuster of a game, two former New South Wales State of Origin players. Brett Kimmorley is with us, who is currently our NRLW coach. Welcome, Brett. And Tim Grant played a couple of Origins for New South Wales as well, currently employed here at West Tigers as Head of Wellbeing.
That'll do. Yeah.
Welcome, Timmy.
That'll do.
That'll do you?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what's on.
It's the front rowers club, mate. The front rowers.
It doesn't matter
The
what's
Battle
on.
of Origin. No wrestling in Origin. It's full on in it, Timmy.
Well, yeah, the green light.
Go for it.
No skill in required. That's,
Should we have different rules for Origin? You've taken me off track here totally.
I think there used to be.
There were.
The whistle
And
goes in the
I think
pocket.
today it still is probably refereed with a bit of a different lens, i.e. probably let flow a bit more.
Well, we want the game to flow more. We want to see who the best state is, who the best players are. It is the best of the best, so they don't get too many things wrong. Obviously, there was a send-off in Origin 1, which obviously hurt New South Wales, and it doesn't happen very often. As you said, maybe the rules get changed a bit, but I think, tonight's going to be a cracking game. It's the best versus the best. It's the pain of Suncorp, the great game. It's New South Wales hadn't played better, Timmy, for probably 10 years in game 2, but now do we fire them up and can we play that good in game 3?
Well, we'll talk all about that, right? And we'll talk about team selection, quite a few changes for Queensland, a couple of changes for New South Wales. I want to reflect on what it means to play Origin. Noddy, you've played 10 over a decade. You only played a couple, Timmy, but you did play in a decider at Suncorp Stadium. We'll talk about that. And we'll talk about the series today, right? Such a big, comfortable win for New South Wales at MCG. Heartbreaking game 1, but you almost binned that as you were down to 12 men. Lots to touch on. Before we do all that, just a bit of club news happening here. And we are quite fortunate, actually. I mean, I did sort of drag you guys in here, but you look out in the corridors of the Zurich Centre and there's a wealth of experience. And it just so happened that here are a couple of New South Wales. We could have brought in Kezi. We could have brought in Salatogatuki. There's a wealth of Origin experience
They're
here.
still a bit emotionally drained and upset from their 3-game Origin. So
I know.
probably right
Okay,
not to bring that up,
leave
Chris.
them out.
So what you're saying is we were the last
We
option.
were
No, I cast an eye across the Zurich Centre, and I saw Origin legends everywhere. Robbie was out busy, Robbie Farah, so I couldn't drag him in.
So
But there were
effectively,
you two.
he's trying to say we were the last of
Not at
the
all.
last of the last.
You were cleaning the kitchen. I'm taking the bins out.
Yeah. And he
Just a
comes in
start.
at 11 and says, "We're ready to go, boys."
Boys, ready? Do you mind stepping in? Club news then. Let's just rattle through some of that. And last Friday night, Timmy, we were both there. Noddy was just up the road at Shark Park. A big loss, 58 points to 6. Terrible night at the office. Really poor performance. Can't hide from that. Benji clearly came out and said, "Want to apologise to fans." It
Wasn't ideal.
It wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
The good thing about the game is you get to go again this weekend, right? So we take on South Sydney Rabbitohs, 3 o'clock. That's at Gosford, formerly Central Coast Stadium, Industry Group Stadium it's called now. A few changes to the team. Look, still question marks over whether Appy's going to play. He's got that calf injury. He has been named in the extended squad. Talon De Silva has been named at hooker, but I'm not quite sure what will happen there. Alex Seyfarth, head knock against the Sharks, so he serves the 11-day mandatory. He's out. Coming back from a head knock, though, Alex Twal comes back into the team. He's been out for, it's been a few weeks now, hasn't it? So Twali's back on deck. Alex Lobb, so he played on with an ankle injury at Shark Park. He's no good. Young Luke Laulili comes back in onto the wing. We all get a chance this weekend. And Latu Fainu too. Latu Fainu comes onto the bench. So good to see him back. In fact, it could well be the very first time that we have Latu, Samuela and Sione Fainu all in the team. So if that does happen, we might drag those boys in here maybe next week and have a chat to them. So good luck to the fellas this weekend in Gosford. Our New South Wales Cup team, they thumped the Roosters last weekend. How good was that? 44 points to 4 at Wenny Park. Now they play the Dragons on Sunday. It's a 1 p.m. kickoff in Wollongong. Flegg also coming off a good win against the Roosters last weekend, 13-12. A field goal it was in the final seconds to, I don't know much about this young fella, Max Lyles, who I think has just joined our club recently, 13-12. They're also up against the Dragons then, and that game is kicking off in Wollongong, 11:15 on Sunday. The Harvey Norman women's team, a big loss last weekend to the Steelers, 50 points to 6. They face the Bunnies on Saturday at Redfern. If you want to get out there, that's a 1 o'clock kickoff. NRLW, Nod. So you had your final trial, but really probably your first trial as well against the Broncos at Suncorp last weekend. Trials a bit of a, you want to go into it hoping like hell you don't get any injuries. How was it?
Yeah, very positive. As you said, a couple of Harvey Norman trials or round 1, round 2. So players had got the opportunity to play some game time, but first time as an NRLW in 2024. Took 21 players to Brisbane, play the Broncos in a trial before the Dragons Broncos game. It was a really good experience. We didn't play at Suncorp last year, so that was part of the reason for going there.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Get to understand there was just under 40,000 people at the game Saturday night. We get to sit and watch the first half. Catch up a little bit together, a little bit of bonding. Had a JC come in on Sunday and did a really good resilience chat to the players that were in Queensland. So it was a bit of education and that as well. And injury-free. There was lots of NRLW trials last weekend, and there's been some pretty big injuries come out of it. So lots of positives and some educational things to improve, but also some good things to keep encouraging from a video point of view.
Yeah. Most all the new girls they played. What was the most pleasing aspect of the game, do you reckon?
I thought we were very good in attack point of view. Things we've been coaching for a number of weeks now. As you said, it's week 6 of our preseason. So we've been waiting a long time to start training and to play. And obviously, for a lot of the girls who didn't play BMD in Queensland, they haven't played a game of football since September last year. So it was a good opportunity for them just to get a couple of runs under their belt, understand the speed of NRLW. The Broncos are a pretty big side, pretty fit side, so it gets you into the challenge straight away. And so some of the attack things were really good. Defensively, we did some really good things, and then there's some little bits of room for error, or not error, room of improvement.
Absolutely.
We'll focus on the next 2 weeks, and we play Canberra next Sunday at Campbelltown Stadium. So that's where it becomes business, and it's really important from then on as a result that you start winning games.
So a 7-week pre-season. It rolls around quickly, doesn't it? So get there if you possibly can. It's next weekend against the Raiders, 1:45 kickoff, Sunday, 28th of July at Campbelltown Sports Stadium. Our Orange Cubs had a really good performance against the Sharks on Monday. So that was 6 tries to 3 they beat the Sharkies, their under-18s development team. So Shannon and Bronson, the team doing great work with the Cubs program, which is now in its third year. So Glassy's another one coming through. He looks strong. Part of our Matt's team this year. But there's loads of good news stories coming through on the development front.
Tables, ladders, chairs. PWA Black Label takes over the Factory Theatre Marrickville on Friday, 2nd of August, featuring a 6-wrestler table, ladders, chairs match. Get your tickets now on prowrestlingaustralia.com.au.
All right, boys. Well, let's have a chat about Origin 3, the decider, right? So we go to Suncorp, and only twice has a team gone there and won a decider at Suncorp. It's a cauldron, a really hard place to go to. But Tim, you've been there for a Game 3 decider. Didn't turn out how you'd hoped it turned out. Why is it so different there? They do almost grow another leg.
Yeah, I think. We hear all this stuff about Queensland. It means more to them and that sort of stuff. I think it's the way that their fans get behind them. I think one thing we're guilty of as a state in New South Wales, if something doesn't go right, we look for changes and that sort of stuff. Everything that comes out of Queensland is positive towards the team. And they literally, we grow up hating Queensland, but it's the same. They grow up hating New South Wales, and you go there and that's exactly that, a cauldron, it's it's exciting, but I didn't find it a hard place to play at. For me, it was exciting. I grew up as a kid, like watching guys like Noddy and that play.
I guess you feed off it, but then others, it might affect them negatively. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I think Timmy said it's a great challenge as a player. I think the Origin is the greatest competition we can have as players. It's different to club football. It's different to Test football. It's got its own speed. You're in camp for 10 days. You get sellout crowds with only one fan base in there. As you said, I think the stadium in Suncorp is a great stadium to play at because of how direct it is, and they feel like they're on top of you, and they hate you, and then they yell abuse at you, and they're probably full of drinks all day as well. So, and we go to 1-1. 1-1 is an amazing opportunity. So, they would probably be hurting a bit from game 2 with obviously how good New South Wales played with a record-breaking first half. There is some dramas apparently in camp. There's a bit of unsettling.
at Blues,
No,
we wouldn't talk about that.
we're fine. Matt just got our
if
team
there
going
is,
good.
just
They're all
sweep it.
happy.
Sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah,
Let's stir it up. What do they come up? What do they got?
There's little riffs happening.
Are you
apparently.
stirring up
No,
just hours before kickoff?
I'm just reading things, Chris. Obviously, we in and around media stuff.
Infighting.
Infighting.
In the
apparently, just
Queensland
broke
camp.
out. Yeah.
And this isn't coming from a glass house.
No.
Has
yeah,
influenza
there's pressure.
spread?
Pressure.
Influenza spread through the camp.
No, but obviously, you go to 1-1. If you think about being a player, if you say, let's go to Suncorp Stadium, let's go to 1-1, let's put ourselves on the biggest challenge you can have. It's like a grand final day.
Yeah.
This is players love for this, looking for this, and it comes down to who's more desperate, who can nail their plays, and who gets some lucky breaks tonight.
So let's just quickly reflect then. So game 1, 38 points to 10. Queensland beat us on our home patch at a core. And Suoli'i, we know, was sent off in the 7th minute for that high shot on Reece Walsh. Fair play, but I mean, this is Origin. You'd almost want your money back if you'd paid big dollars for that match, right? Being that, we go to Melbourne a few weeks later, and you're right. My concern was that our grand final. That was huge, the way Madge got those boys up. And they just blew Queensland off the park. 34 blot, was it, I think, at halftime.
Yeah.
No one saw that coming. They were shell-shocked. I mean, what brought that performance on, do you think? Were they just off their game, or were we just 10 out of 10?
Well, Timmy, I'll go back to game 1. Obviously, I think if you lose a player in State of Origin and you got the best versus the best, the speed of the game, the skill of the players on the field, they should win comfortably. So that probably hurt New South Wales a lot. I thought the effort areas were good, but out of petrol. Cobbo was outstanding, Hammer on the left edge. But I think if you go to game 2, we're 1-0 down, we've got to be desperate.
Yep.
And I think what happened as a halfback, Moses played on the back of front football, and I think the forwards won every collision, got momentum, and that's when you've got time. And when you've got, again, the best of the players from each state, you should be able to score tries when you're on the front foot. So that's, Timmy, where I thought New South Wales certainly smashed game 2, and probably Queensland have to stop that in game 3 now.
Yeah, and like we said, the game 1, if you take one person out of Origin, you got 3 metres either side of you pretty much of, you've got to close that gap.
Yeah.
Like Noddy said, it's that fast anyway. Like ridiculous metres per minute compared to club footy. You take out a defender and then you've got to cover even more metres. It's just a mismatch. It was never going to, I think they held their gloves up. But in saying that, that can also give you a bit of inspiration for the game too, because it was a mismatch. It was it was fair in the rules, but it was unfair to play 12 versus 13.
I'll have a look at the teams there. And by the way, so of the 13 series deciders at Suncorp Stadium, we've only won the 2, and Queensland have won 9 of the last 10 deciders. So they just do grow another leg there, and as Gal would say, the supporters grow another head as well. But, that by the by. In terms of the team changes for Queensland, so Kalen Ponga, Dane Gagai, Selwyn Cobbo, they come into the team. Cobbo comes back in after missing game 2. So Xavier Coates and Murray Tuolanga, they're both out with hamstring injuries. Jaden Sewer gets dropped. So Kurt Catewell elevated from the bench into the second row, and Ponga will come off the bench. So Val Holmes will shift out to the wing. It's a really strong team, however you look at it. How are they going to use Kalen Ponga?
Oh, I think last time he played at Suncorp, he got man of the match. So he's obviously pretty good on that venue and loves the big occasion. He's one of the best players in our competition. So, there's probably a possibility of him playing jersey 13. They do that very well with Ben Hunt there for a long while. Michael
Well,
they
imagine
play-
Reece and Kalen sort of
yeah,
just
so
hunting around the
if they
ruck.
can get some play the ball speed, it gives cover for the backs. Obviously opens up opportunities. If a half gets hurt, he plays in that position. The fullback goes down, they don't lose a back line. It's interesting how they will get him on, and sometimes you've got to be planned for what does go good, and then if things in Origin go wrong, you get the wrong choice and you put him on early.
If they lose a forward, though,
Lose
there
a
might be
forward,
a
bits
little
and
bit of
pieces.
trouble.
So these are things that Billy has to deal with now. Billy's had great success as that Origin coach, bits and pieces. But I think Mad just certainly squared up the ledger at the moment, leading into tonight about probably out coaching Billy in some regards to get that level. More experience. Madge understands it, done it for a lot longer. So, all these things in preparation and interchange have a big part of how your players feel on game day.
I was looking at the team you played in 2012. My God, you look at the back line there, and Billy Slater was at fullback. It was a who's who, and you had Cronk and Thurston were the halves. I think Cam was the hooker. It was a bloody good team you guys were up against.
And it's one of them things as well, like with, say, Kalen and having speed. I'm no coach, Noddy's a coach, but like if you're chasing points, you probably do take a forward off to put a Kalen Ponga on. You put your strike weapons on if you're chasing points. So depending on where the team is and the scoreline, that sort of stuff. I'll tell you what though, that's the beauty of Origin is like you're not bringing a reserve, a fringe first grader in. You're bringing a marquee man, like he's Newcastle's best, and then you just bring like the next up and. We've got a few in New South Wales as well that aren't playing, Nath Clearys and these sort of guys. But the guys that are there, they're marquees at their club.
Well, he's not Newcastle's only best. So Bradman Best comes back in. So to the New South, he's played last year, didn't he? One game.
Yes.
Yeah. Talking about this team, so in for Latrell Mitchell. Latrell was huge, right? He had that presence, that aura about him in game 2. Bradman Best is a very, very talented left centre. We'll chat about that, but also the other selection. So Mitch Barnett comes in. Hamoli Olakawatu left out. You can probably feel hard done by. No? Or are you in favour of that?
I think it's one of them things. It's, they're going up. When you think of Mitch Barnett, you think of raw aggression, very passionate. So Madge is probably gone for that.
Work rate.
Bit more starch. It's
industrial.
Yeah, and I think he's deserved his opportunities. I think he's been really good.
Yeah, and again, he's been in and around the Origin as this 80th man, 9th man, 20th man for a little while now. I don't see many front rowers setting up short tries on the short sides the other day. He was second man, played down the short side and passes to the winger. So has earned his right, Timmy, as you said, earned his stripes and comes in and obviously comes with that passion. He reminds me a bit of a Liam Martin. They just go hell for leather. They're tough, they're physical, but they keep it guided as well. And then obviously good leg speed and bits and pieces. So Olakawatu didn't get a heap of time both games.
No.
What a player though.
Yeah.
I think he'll have a fair
Origin future.
Yeah, I think he'll play a lot of Origin footy.
And Best, I don't think you'll lose. Well, there's no Latrell Mitchell, but he's a big body. He's athletic. He'll keep him honest.
Yeah, I think you get the same shape from him, don't you? Early ball to Best on that left edge. It's the same as giving early ball to Latrell. You're right.
He needs early ball.
Latrell come in with all that confidence and belief and play again front foot football. You give them time to play. They come up with some big plays. So. It's a matter now, as you said, of going to Suncorp and getting in that grind and getting in the arm wrestle and seeing who are the players that come up with the play and who makes the Origin moments.
It's a big, not career defining, but it's a big moment for Mitchell Moses, isn't it? For him really to stamp his name on the Origin arena.
Yeah, I think so. Like obviously wins last week's or 2 weeks ago Origin. There's generally a band called Nathan Cleary that's in the background that you would probably think would get picked if he's healthy. So it's a chance for Moses to say, hey, I own this team. I own our state. I've taken us to victory. So I think, Chris, the best players in our game are the ones that played great at Origin. It's the biggest challenge we can have. They've got to handle it. We've seen over the last 20, 30, 40 years, some certain players just stand up and take those Origin moments. So it's a chance for Mitchell Moses to do that in game 3. And then he has the state certainly supporting him, and he's not had a great year Parramatta-wise for where they are also, but this will take all that pain away if you can win a State of Origin series.
Let's reflect on your Origin experiences then. Firstly, you, Timmy. So just the two. It was in 2012. game 2 and game 3. Was that right?
Game 2 and game 3, yeah.
I think I said they won 14-13, but it was 21-20, wasn't it, that they ended up
Game 3, yeah.
going in that decider.
Yep.
So in game 2, and Billy Slater was your fullback, he must have got injured because game 3 they bring in another bloke who's a pretty handy footballer called Greg Inglis.
He does it right.
Did all right to fullback.
Yeah.
What are your fondest memories of your time in Origin?
I think the fondest memories for me was the build up, like watching it as a kid. I was a staunch Knights supporter as a kid because I love Chief and Joey and them sort of guys, but we'd be watching it, and then guys like Noddy and that, all of a sudden they become like ours. Like that's how it is, right? It's tribal. So it's still, I still can't comprehend. It's a bit of imposter syndrome that I even played, to be honest. Like I still.
No, I wouldn't say that.
I still
but,
I can't believe that it actually happened. But I just think like everything, the build up, your family get right behind it. People that you grew up with as kids and that, they come out of the woodwork, and it's just a great moment. And it's
great uncles and aunties and cousins.
Yeah.
You didn't even know you had. Good luck, Tim. Any free tickets?
Yeah.
and as Noddy said, it's like, unfortunately, I didn't get to play in a grand final, so that was
it.
That was the best that I got, was a decider. I would have loved to have won it, but didn't get that either.
But as Nod said, it's the highest accolade, isn't it? I mean, like, wearing the green and gold, obviously, that's probably the highest accolade. But in terms of the highest level of footy, the Origin arena, you can't really. I was chatting to Timmy last Friday at Shark Park, Noddy, and I don't really want to bring up last Friday at Shark Park, but the boys were just about to run on. We're both in the shed, and the final few minutes where Appy's got them around and they're fully embraced and they're really pumped up for this. Sadly, it didn't happen on the field, but in the shed beforehand, Timmy said to me, "This is the stuff that I miss."
Yeah, I think it's
You
just
still
that,
feel it,
yeah.
don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's you got it at Clubland because you go through the whole season together, and when you play Origin, they're your sort of people. And I didn't get to. I played Prime Ministers with a few Queensland guys and that, but I didn't get to play for the Kangaroos. But I still believe there's that little bit of a divide. So I think the Origin arena, like you're tighter as a team. So then when you're winning that, it actually means a lot. I'm not saying that winning a Tri-Nations or a Four Nations or something wouldn't mean anything, but when you're with your tight group of players, and I think there would be a divide in a test team, right? Because it's us and them still.
Yeah, I reckon. Noddy, your Origin career then, you played 10 Origins for New South Wales, spread across a decade. Yeah. Now, overlapping your career, there was probably a couple of good number 7s. One of them was a bloke called Andrew Johns. Craig Gower was another. You made your Origin debut in 2000.
Yes.
What a series. The clean sweep. 3 blot.
That's right, yeah. And it'd come off being, a couple of really good years for myself in football, like win the grand final 99 for Melbourne, get selected to play for Australia at the end of 1999, State of Origin Series 2000, I had a side around me, and fullback was Tim Brasher. Tim was my roomie, actually, golf buggy, roommate there. Brad Fittler was our captain, 5'8". I got to play, starting half. Joey would come off the bench, Jeff Tuvey. So some players in the side that you looked up to. You went, these guys are, players I've watched on TV and are great players and had won lots of things. So I remember getting out of the bus first time going to Suncorp Stadium. The bus had gone down Caxton Street in the old days. 4 cans of beer hurled at you. You turn up the Suncorp and you're like, holy shit. Like that's what they're throwing at you before you even get to the venue. And Freddie stands up and says, let's go. I can't wait for this. And as you said, it's to win 3 games in a row, and the third game was a record points victory. Certainly the post-try celebration, a little bit of fun there.
Isn't that the folklore?
That's probably hurt us for a long.
That's
long
the
That was the
folklore.
Mad Dog
Yeah.
McDougall one?
Yes.
Was that the
Brian
hand
Fletcher,
grenade
the
or
hand
the
grenade,
10
Brian-
bin bowling?
Yeah.
Brian Fletcher with the hand grenade, bits and pieces.
That was
So-
at 2000.
That was 2000. So amazing time in camp. A lot of fun, a lot of good people. A little bit of bonding, couple of beers, bits and pieces. Go home for your weekend, come back and play. But when you have success in an Origin arena, it feels great. Yes, you got so much confidence. Probably for my career, I had a lot of confidence for those years where you're winning things and you're playing well. So it was sort of and then the end of 2000 was the World Cup. we went to victory as well. So
Yeah.
tasted a lot of success in a sort of 2 or 3 year period that we're of the highest of highs. So
Yeah.
You've
it's
ticked all the
amazing
boxes.
achievement. Yeah,
Ticked all the
So-
boxes in the first, like that 3 year
3 or
period.
4 year period. Yeah, so it was
Not bad.
it's pretty amazing. But as you said, the last year I played game 1 2010. And as you said, Craig Gower and I were always in and out of it. Bits and pieces for that time frame. Joey, I played game 1. Craig Bellamy rang me and said, they're going to go a different direction for game 2. And there was a gentleman called Mitchell Pearce who comes in, and that was probably the time. It's
In which year was it?
2010.
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
was then
yeah.
Mitchell Pearce's sort of time to take over as the halfback for New South Wales. So I felt honoured and blessed that I had an opportunity to play for my state. As Timmy said, I was ball boy to Paul Harrigan when my dad was coaching Lakes United coming through,
Yeah.
and to see Chief come through and play for country, for New South Wales, and then all of a sudden to be able to do the same thing as someone that come from your own backyard. You're right, you got a lot of mates. You're proud of your state. I think it's a huge moment for your family. I was really, my mum and dad who drive you everywhere and sacrifice things. They can stand there pretty proud that you get to go and play. And I had multiple years of not playing, Chris. I was told my papers were torn up, and played 2 more games after that. And my couple of my older children were lucky enough to come to games and experience it. So difference of emotions. You win the first series 3-0. You go through some heartache in the middle, and at the end, you're just so proud that your family's able to be there and your mates, and they come and watch, and you can see how long and lucky you were to play for 10 years.
You talk about Chief there, and he was obviously an idol of yours. He was an idol of mine,
Yeah.
right, as well. I grew up supporting Parramatta, but I had a very short career, right? But I only played a handful of NRL games. But probably my career highlight was bringing Chief down in a semi-final.
Yeah.
For Maggie's.
So he tripped over you.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. He said, who's this speed up?
and then got your legs twisted in him on the way over.
Yeah, the big chief. You mentioned Nod bonding sessions. Now, how things have changed over the years, to how they have evolved, shall we say.
So I think, you just get together with teammates that you didn't know before. I was, you younger sort of kid coming into with senior players. You get to, what you do, you get to watch how the good players train.
Yep.
You get to see how they prepare themselves, how confident they are in their ability, the individual training they do outside of, what your team sees and all that type of stuff. So I think that's a really big eye-opener for myself, was about, being with these great players, hanging around them, seeing how confident they are, and, and then probably as a half, the biggest thing that I always learnt from Chief and from Freddie and bits and pieces is that you've got to run the team, you're the half. So don't worry about how young you are, bits and pieces. You call, we'll follow. So that gave me a lot of confidence, I suppose. But I think that's important. And these big guys do the hard work, and then we get to take a bit of the praise on the back of it.
To be fair though, you take the praise, but if you don't win, like the pressure's on the halves, right? It's always been in Origin is like when a team doesn't do well, the pressure goes on the halves, like rightfully so or not.
I was at Suncorp on Saturday night, and I stood on the tunnel in front of the 30-metre line.
That 30-metre line.
That same 30-metre line when I threw a pass that didn't go to the Matt Cooper,
right
who
Matt,
was intended
found the wrong
to.
Matt.
I stole it on the way through, and as you said, that's
Matty
heartbreak. The 2 Matts. So
Found the wrong Matt.
In my vision, I was hitting Matt Cooper from about 15 metres away from me, but that's then the heartbreak of all heartbreaks, because you let your state down.
in
You let your
extra time,
teammates
wasn't
down.
it? 20
Yeah,
all.
yeah. So then that was the probably my biggest, or the lowest point of my whole career. I couldn't pass long right to left. That was Origin 2005 game 1.
I remember it.
I didn't pass long, I don't think, right to left the whole year. I just couldn't let the ball go out of my hands. Just scared the shit out of me and burnt me that much that
That's the pressure cooker.
it's the
eh?
pressure cooker.
Yeah.
And in my head, for all those years, you go back to 98, 99, 2000 when everything was working. I had no setbacks in my career. You play off instinct. You play what's in front of you. By that moment, you take too many steps and you throw the ball. And Matt Cooper, I can still see Matt Cooper in my eye line hitting the ball on the chest, and then
Extra time.
and then you shattered, and then
But Nod, you wouldn't, if you had your time again, obviously the execution, but that's the way you played, right?
You just passed it 4 steps earlier. And that's the difference.
Do you think?
No, but you got to back yourself.
Do you think that's the difference between, say, Origin and club footy when you spend 11 months together?
Yeah.
If it was your Melbourne team, mate, he's probably one step closer to you, or something like that. It's that
No,
it's
you
that
get-
cohesion.
And the other thing is, you got next week to get on with it.
Yeah.
You get a chance to play next week and always a second opportunity. Like that's 1-0 down in your state. So, you talk about origin moments. Joey comes in game 2 and game 3, which was one of the series we won at Suncorp Stadium in a decider, and absolutely plays the house down.
One of the two series deciders we've won.
Yeah, there's a gentleman called
How
Andrew
did it make
Johnson.
you feel? Were you watching that?
I definitely watch it. Yeah, as a proud New South Wales player still, and a fan of our state. But yeah, it was.
But you talk about resilience, Nod, right? So that was I guess a low point for you getting dropped after that, and the whole world was watching that intercept, and we all know it now. It's down in Origin folklore. But for you to come back and make the team again, right? You got to take a lot out of that.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
And I think I threw a lot of face balls
That worked.
and you scored tries, bits and pieces. So you got to sort of carry the pain forever. Even now, if I still go to an Origin match, they still bring it up and they still remind you about it. So it was 18 years ago. But you're right. It's about backing yourself. I got over that situation by an off season by practicing again and believing in what you do. It took me 4 years and 2 state of origin games to get back into that arena. So it was a little bit of weight and a heartache to get there. And the funny thing about when I got back into that arena, the fear of failing was gone. That was the pressure that Origin puts on you. You play the game 3 times in your head before you even get the game day, and then you put that much pressure. You get dressed earlier. You're in the change rooms earlier. The pressure because you don't want to let you down. So I'd sort of got to enjoy my last 2 games after that because of the fear had gone and nothing could ever be that bad again.
Throw another cutout?
Yeah, I definitely did. Hopefully it worked. Bits and pieces, but
To your credit, though, it's a fair show of resilience to have to play Origin over a 10-year period. That's
Absolutely.
you got to be resilient to do that.
Absolutely. To bury those demons from game 105 and bounce back, and as you did, mate. Hats off to you.
Tables, ladders, chairs. PWA Black Label takes over the Factory Theatre Marrickville on Friday, 2nd of August, featuring a 6-wrestler table ladders chairs match. Get your tickets now on prowrestlingaustralia.com.au.
Boys, you know what time it is, don't you?
Lunchtime?
Yeah, but
part-time.
part-time lunchtime. It's what we call turnbuckle time.
Oh,
Off the top
Okay,
right.
so we've ditched the set of 6 for this special Origin preview episode, but we're still throwing in the turnbuckle time, okay? 6 questions worth 4 points each.
Right.
Yeah.
Maximum score is 24, okay? Then there's a bonus question worth 1 point. Total equals 25.
so someone
Are you with
could
me
win.
so far?
Yeah, so we could win 25-24.
Yeah.
And it'd be like the Origin tonight.
Test your brothers. Noddy.
Nozzy.
Test your-
I'm going to say Nozzy.
Nozzy.
Nozzy. Test your butter.
Nozzy. Yeah.
Test your buzzer.
Nozzy.
Nozzy. Timmy.
Nozzy.
No,
It's
you're
Nozzy now.
Yeah.
No, it's Nozzy.
Nozzy.
Yeah, I'll be
I
Noddy.
Whoever
then.
gets Nozzy in first.
Yeah.
Okay, righto. You ready to go? Okay.
Nozzy.
You keeping track of this, Tommy? Righto. Question 1. Who played more State of Origins for New South Wales? Ben Elias or Robbie Farah?
Nozzy.
Ah, Tim.
I'm going to go with Robbie.
Final question? Final answer?
Yeah.
I've got a picture of. I've got a picture of
Sorry,
that
right.
great picture of Benny.
Benny Elias.
Right.
Got that great
you've
picture
come
with
in.
his mum.
You've come in. You've come in.
Benny have 13 or 14? How many? You have more than that, did he?
Anyway, you're wrong.
Thank you. That's
Okay.
all right.
Does Noddy then get the points? No.
It's
You
a
go on to
50-50.
-4, I think.
All right, sweet.
No, does he? How are we?
Or we just
You're
on-
0.
play on-
0.
play
Okay,
on-
no,
right.
Benny Elias, 19.
19.
Robbie had 16, played 16. Question 2. Okay. Of those 2 players, Benny and Robbie,
Yes.
who scored the most Origin tries?
Noddy.
Brett.
Robbie Farah.
Eh. Robbie Farah scored no tries.
What?
Oh.
The ball
In
played-
Origin,
Oh, so Benny.
Benny scored 1 try from 19 appearances. You're both back to 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Question 3. When did New South Wales last win an Origin decider at Suncorp Stadium?
Noddy.
Brett.
Am I right in saying 2005?
Correct. 4 points. Yay. Noddy's
We got
off the mark.
We got a Mark Boris, obviously famous New South Wales Wizard sponsorship. isn't it?
Yes.
So we all got rings for that campaign. Obviously, of Blues Brothers, bits and pieces. So
Yeah.
my dad enjoys it very much.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
Good. Thank you,
I
Mark.
didn't really want to keep it,
That's
unfortunately.
right.
But
Oh,
yeah.
well, why not? You played a part in the series. Win.
Me, I don't know.
You
I
got
was
dumped.
-4 where we just started.
Yeah, I mean, take the intercept out
Yeah.
of it. It was still a good
Dad's
series.
happy with
Dad's
this.
that, yeah.
Dad's happy.
Yeah.
Question 4.
Yeah.
Name the first West Tigers player to represent New South Wales.
Noddy.
Brett.
McGuinness. Ken McGuinness.
No.
No.
Close. You can, if you can get this, you can take the 4 points.
Oh,
First West Tigers player. So no.
You're out.
what era are we
I'm
talking?
just thinking in my head.
Don't
I'm
help
just,
him.
I'm thinking like left field
Well,
stuff.
West Tigers came in 2000.
Yeah.
You know
So
that.
you're talking about.
Would have been when you, well, a bit later. No, it would have been after your first. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the late Terry Hill.
Oh, of course.
Tezza.
Mm.
Question 5. Okay, who was the most recent West Tigers player to represent Queensland?
Nozzy.
Tim.
Was it front rower?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a middle. Yeah.
I've got the name.
Yeah, you just can't roll it off.
Parramatta.
Yeah, you can.
No.
Yeah, it's on the tip of that. Show me that tongue.
Offengowie.
Yeah, Joey, off and Gowie. Came to you. For all.
Joffa, huh?
That's what I was going to say. Joffa, but that's
Joff, for all.
Offengowie.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Question 6. Yeah, there's a car up for grabs here too, to the winner.
Yeah, but
With
what
this
type?
quiz.
What type of car?
We haven't got a car yet, but
oh, sweet.
it could be a car. Question 6. Can you name 2 West Tigers who played for Queensland while they're at this club? 2 West Tigers.
Oh, that would be
No,
one.
well, you could have had Joff in there.
So
It's
two
too
West.
hard. Okay. Not including Joffa. 2 other West Tigers who have played for Queensland while they were here at the club. Because you've got players that were here and then went and played later on, etc. That doesn't count. Oh, do you want me to give you a clue? A couple of.
Tell us.
What if.
Give us the years.
Oh, I can't give you the year. Oh, well. One of them's name was Scott.
Prince.
Yeah.
Noddy. Yeah, Scott
Noddy.
Prince.
Yes, Brett.
Oh, Scott Prince.
Have you got another one?
Will give us the year. Just give me the year. If I can,
Can I throw one out there?
Yeah, you go.
What about Ben Teo? Did he play while he was here?
Don't think he played. No,
So Queensland.
What about if one of them is actually playing tonight?
Harry Grant.
Cool. Yeah, well done.
Nozzy.
Noddy.
Nozzy.
Prince and Harry Grant.
We're actually cousins, Harry.
Okay, you're both on 6 points each.
Good.
There is one more player, okay, played for
For
Queensland
Queensland.
while at West Tigers. You've named Harry, you've named Scotty Prince, you've named Joffa.
Nozzy.
Oh, Tim Grant.
I don't think this is correct because it's too early in his career. LaFranchi.
Anthony
Anthony
LaFranchi.
Spanner in the works.
This boy is not, he's not playing in the NRL anymore, okay, but he is still playing in Super League. Okay. Shares one of his names with New South Wales halfback.
So
Shares one of his names with the New South Wales halfback.
Nozzy.
Timothy.
The great Moses Mbai.
Moses
Mbai,
Mbai is the
yes.
answer we were looking for.
I'm
Harry
going
Grant,
Lua.
Joe
Who's a Lua?
Offengowie,
Who's the lure?
Scotty Prince, Moses Mbai.
The boy from Noosa, hey?
Boys, thanks for jumping in. A great Origin chat. Good luck to both teams tonight.
We don't mean that.
And we
We
just
don't
mean
mean
good
that.
luck to New South Wales
Yeah.
tonight.
Good luck to New
And the
South
other
Wales
team.
tonight.
And the
You know
other
what?
team, yeah.
Queensland gets stuffed.
The other team, hope for no injuries. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Score. Tip. What do you got? How's it go tonight?
New South Wales 26-18.
26-18 Blues. And we claim our third series decider at Suncorp. 26-18.
Yeah, I was thinking along the lines of like 24-16, something like that.
close
There'll
one.
be
Yeah.
there'll be a
6 to
few
8
tries
points.
though. I
Yeah.
think there'll be some tries scored.
All right. Okay, so 6 to 8 points, New South Wales.
You know what? As long as New South Wales win,
Who cares?
Who
though?
cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Life goes on.
Yeah.
Play on.
We'll wake up happier tomorrow.
Absolutely. Boys, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the game. Enjoy the rest of your week. And of course, to our West Tigers teams this weekend, all the best to you, especially the NRL boys at Gosford against the Bunnies on Saturday. We'll do it all again next week, same time, same place. Until then, show your stripes.
Behind the Law, the official podcast of West Tigers.